Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hey everybody, just want to thank you all for downloading Today We Learn number 6. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know Dan and I enjoyed recording it. Our guest today is a director known as Jon Schnepp. He's a fine gentleman who's directed episodes of Metalocalypse, Venture Brothers, Upright Citizens Brigade, tons more. It's really funny, intensely knowledgeable, and he's got a great documentary coming out titled The Death of Superman Lives, which is that Superman movie that was supposed to star Nick Cage, and directed by Tim Burton and all that stuff. So that's going to be coming out in the future. I don't think he's got a date yet, but that's going to be coming out. He's a cool guy. You can follow him on Twitter at Jon Schnepp, at JONSCHNEPP. And cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. I know we got a bunch of other great episodes coming up in the future as well. So stick around and tell your friends. Without further ado, Today We Learn number 6.
Today we learn. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
All right.
Headphones, we got headphones. I don't know if you need headphones. Yeah. We use them, but you don't need to. I mean, it's just voices inside, but however.
I already sound like I don't want.
You don't want you don't want to have it like piped into your ear as well.
Sounds good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
Cool. All right, welcome back to another episode of Today We Learn. I'm your host, Dan Casey.
And my name is Razzle.
And today we have a really awesome guy in the studio. I'm really stoked he could be here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know him as the director of Metalocalypse, Venture Brothers, the forthcoming documentary Death of Superman Lives. Please welcome Jon Schnepp.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. We really appreciate it.
I feel like we should have I really want to have a soundboard or something.
Just like a little applause sound
or
effects.
something. We need to get Katie some applause.
Like we just record people from a One Direction concert losing their minds.
Yeah, we're talking to ghosts here, you know, in the machine, and I just feel like I want to hear please give you a round. Stop driving, take your hands off the wheel, put on cruise control, and clap your hands.
Oh no, there's a live studio audience here, but they are all just like stone faced and not moving.
Yeah, there's
slowly reading comics.
Yeah,
we need a new warm-up comedian to get them warmed
exactly.
up here. An applause sign. That's funny. That's funny stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can get a bunch of boos. Boo!
Let's get some... Oh, man, that's so funny.
Again, this is where the sound meter would come in, the soundboard would come in great, just like a morning radio.
A morning radio
jocks.
soundboard.
Yeah.
I want a soundboard of David Lee Roth just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, ow! You ever hear that one? That Panama? It's just the vocal track of Van Halen's Panama. This Diamond Dave.
Unfortunately, I did hear that. Yeah.
I love Diamond David Lee Roth so much. He's so cool, so funny and smart and quick and nutty.
Do you have any David Lee Roth facts?
I don't have a
squirreled away.
Here's a fact. I don't know if it's a fact or as much of an urban legend. Today, everybody knows this about the show, but I'll inform you too. It's called Today We Learn, and it's predominantly facts, but there's also a lot of things we hear, and it's hearsay.
There's some speculation.
Okay. So don't take this to the bank and trying to cash it or anything like that. But I've heard David Lee Roth is I'm fairly certain he knows ninjutsu and all that. Like he's very martial arts savvy. Mm-hmm. And I've heard that back in the day when Van Halen was like just, in its prime, when in the off season David Lee Roth would have him and his friends dropped into like rainforests with just like knives and like water, and they would like adventure themselves out of the situation.
That's amazing.
And find like land and just like get themselves, like they would get lost in the rainforest on purpose, and then they would go on excursions to get themselves out.
I want that to be true so bad.
Yeah,
I've
like David Lee Roth, secret survivalist.
Yeah, like he was just that, like that. Like, and I heard that, like in the heyday when they would walk around with all the bodyguards and everything, he would have those big black bodyguards just for show because he could take anybody, but he just wanted to seem like the diva and all that. And that makes me like him even more because that's awesome. Then again, I don't know how true any of that is. I'm a huge Van Halen fan, but I don't like that. You can't really find that. You can't look that up. I mean, it's not like,
Black Ops, David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
That file will be declassified somewhere in the late 2040s.
I think you just came up with a best-selling comic book.
Yeah.
So
It's like that Confessions of a Dangerous Mind with that George Clooney directed about the
Chuck Barris
from the Gong Show, how he was supposedly a spy for the CIA.
Yeah. That was fun. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was real or not.
I hope it is. I hope it is so much.
If Julia Child could spy for the OSS, I'm sure that,
I
rest
hope
could hold true as well.
Yeah.
So, John, usually we ask our guests to bring in a fact, something they learned recently, just something, stumbled upon.
Right.
So, I'm curious if you're working on this Superman documentary, Death Superman Lives, which I'm very excited for. Do you have any odd bits of Superman trivia you've learned, or if not, just a fact about anything you've learned recently? I know you had some dental surgery recently. Did you learn anything about dentists?
I learned that you should not fear your dentist. That is a fact. You should go and see your dentist regularly. Because I didn't for several years, and then they found some flavory. I found out that my teeth are evil.
Oh,
Yikes!
That two of my teeth were the devil.
Oh God!
If you wanted to believe in God,
Yeah.
and the rest of your teeth are God, then two of my teeth turned into Satan.
Were they which were they molars?
They were my molars. Wisdom
Molars.
teeth.
They're just lurking back there plotting.
And they grew in sideways. They were like, I don't know why, but let's go towards the other teeth. Let's grow towards the other teeth. So that's why I was saying they're Satan, but they were just really stupid.
They're the David Lee Roths of your mouth.
Yeah, they were like
we'll escape through the sides.
Yeah, through the other teeth. Yeah. So that's basically what happened. Is they were like, hey, we're gonna have to remove, because I was like, oh, these teeth are killing me, and they're like, well, they are literally killing your other teeth. They're growing into your other teeth. So they had to pull out my wisdom teeth and then my other two molars.
That is brutal.
So you're missing 4 teeth now.
I am, sir.
Essentially.
In the back.
But think of how much ice cream you'll be able to eat.
Man, I can eat a lot of ice cream.
I don't like to brag, but that's a lot of cream.
Yeah,
That's a lot of ice cream. Ice cream's delicious. I love ice cream.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love ice cream?
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
Ice cream is delicious.
Ice cream is
Fact.
delicious.
Total fact.
Yeah. It's accepted by most scientists.
That's awesome. So you learned about the dentist. You learned your teeth are bad. I'm curious. I remember seeing the Kickstarter and all this for your Death of Superman Lives documentary. What do you have any interesting facts about that you can share? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been it's been fun playing the exploratory, fact finder to so degree, because I mean, so many things happen with this production that it's not just one reason it didn't end up going forward. It was a lot of things fell into place right at the same time. So, I mean, obviously a lot of people will turn to Batman and Robin, the Joel Schumacher movie that came out, and it made some money, but it wasn't a giant blockbuster hit. And worst of all, it was maligned by critics and the fans.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny, though, because now so many years have passed that some people have been like, well, I grew up watching Batman and Robin, and I just saw it as a comedy. It was sort of like the Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
So they never kind of connected it that it was like, oh, there was the Adam West Batman, because it's so much history. And then when you're a kid, I was like, I was born in the 90s, and then they don't know about any of the rest of the history. They're just sort of like, I was spoon-fed video games, and then only what other people told me to read.
Exactly.
So they never actually went in to find out, oh, you never read The Killing Joke or The Dark Knight Returns or any of the other 10 or 15
saw this,
years.
super campy, nippled suit.
I mean,
but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm hey, if you could enjoy it as a camp movie, that's great, because I can't watch it without my blood rising. So it's kind of cool that other people are have a different interpretation.
See, it's funny. Me and my friends and I will watch bad movies and rip on them, obviously, on occasion. And as bad as it is, the one-liners Schwarzenegger gives, I could watch. There's mashups on YouTube of just all the lines Schwarzenegger gives in it. And
that's my point. You can watch that. But you can't watch the movie. I can watch all those freeze, chill, stick around.
I still see you.
Yeah, all in a row, and it's that's so humorous that they got him to say these idiotic lines. But to watch the movie, it's it's
a bad movie. I'll tell you what, though, as it is a campy version of Batman and all of that, as bad as that movie is, The Batman, the Brave and the Bold on Cartoon Network is such a good show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so well written and funny. If they made that version, if they did, they could really do a fun, campy, bright version of Batman. And if they did a live version of that and made it like the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, I would be on board 100%.
I've actually read that same opinion somewhere else, so I've never seen it, but I want to check it out because it sounds really
so
fun.
funny.
It's just
because,
fun.
It pokes fun at itself so much.
As well as Marvel is doing in the live-action movie game, DC has their animated universe on lock. They're on point when it comes to that stuff. Now they just need to find a way to sort of translate that success into live-action movies.
Well, you know what's interesting about the live-action DC and Marvel situation is that I was thinking about this a couple days ago. Marvel, even though they when they were broke, they sold a lot of their you know, Spider-Man's owned by Sony, Fox, and the X-Men are owned by Fantastic Four and Fox are owned by Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of spread out. But that means it's better for us because we get more movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if see how DC owns all of their own characters, but then they have to develop Green Lantern and that fails. So then it's like,
and it's all Warner Brothers too. Warner Brothers owns DC, so
that's what I mean. It's like they're not going to make you're not going to get 8 DC comic book movies, but you are going to get 8 Marvel movies because it's going to be a Marvel Fox movie, it's going to be a Marvel Sony movie, and a Marvel Disney movie, all in 2015. You'll get 4-5 movies in the summer. You're going to get 1 DC comic book movie. See what I mean? It's sort of like we win as fans, but I wish DC would just sell off, just sell the Demon to Dimension.
Just give someone Aquaman so I can see that movie.
Or not even, necessarily sell it. Just be like, look, we'll let you use the rights for this franchise for 2 movies or whatever.
Right.
Not even, don't even, retain the rights, so if it does do well, you can still get tons of back end, but at least make more movies. I'm a huge fan. I like The Flash. I'd like to see a Flash movie. They're
making one.
They're
gonna make it. I think that was part of this spate of Comic-Con announcements. In addition to Batman, Superman, and Justice League, The Flash is getting his own spin-off movie too.
That's hard to. I don't believe that though.
It's just going to be a regular movie and fast forward.
Right. There's 4 hours of this movie played at double speed.
Exactly.
Green Lantern was such a bad movie. It bums me out that. And as much as that's what sucks about DC is DC's got Batman, which is the best superhero ever in my opinion. And then they got Superman, they got the Justice League, but DC's canon really is Marvel really has. They got Spider-Man as a great character. The X-Men are great characters. Fantastic Four are all right characters. Just though, right there they have more characters that are better than DC's canon alone. You know what I mean?
Well, it all depends on how you spin it. There's a lot of DC's lower caliber characters that are equal to something like Iron Man. Not everyone knew who Iron Man was in 2008. Correct. Granted, he was in a bunch of animated series, but he wasn't at like a Batman or Superman level, and now he is because he was in a great movie series.
Yeah.
Sorry, so it's like. I think, you could do the same thing with some of the smaller DC characters. Off the top of my head, you can say The Question.
Okay, yeah.
Who's no one knows about him. I think it's a fantastic character. I would go see a Question movie, but spin it so it's maybe you don't have to worry about it being all stuck in the same universe.
Yeah.
Make it like a film noir. Make it a really cool detective film. It can be like a crazier, weirder Batman.
Yeah, that's why I was really stoked for the rumors that Guillermo del Toro would be making Justice League Dark, because that's all their sort of weird occult characters like Constantine as Zatanna.
Okay. That would I would hope that gets made. Like Guillermo, he's doing 50 movies.
Yeah,
so it's
all at the same time. They're all shooting simultaneously.
Like Crimson Peak or what's it called?
Crimson. I think Crimson Peak is right. The one with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, he's out of it now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he dropped out 2 days ago.
Bummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that means. There's rumor mills that he's
Star
going to be
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah. God.
Which will probably, by the time this comes out, will probably already be true.
Yeah.
Or false.
Or false.
We'll find out.
But I don't think they're going to make a Flash movie.
I really hope he doesn't do any more movies because I really like Sherlock, and I just want Benedict Cumberbatch to make as many Sherlock.
They are done with the 3rd season.
Yeah.
They filmed it, so we'll be getting it very soon. So.
Yeah, just get a.
You should watch Broadchurch. My girlfriend turned me onto it, and I watched 4 episodes last night. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix streaming. It takes place in the United Kingdom. It's like a sleepy beach town that is called Broadchurch, but I don't think that's the real name. But it's about a kid who falls off. You know how they have those steep cliffs.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
It's found at the bottom, and it's like
Oh, I've heard about it. It's kind of like The Killing in the
yes,
English
and it's David
countryside.
Tennant plays
okay.
a
Doctor.
detective who
Yeah.
comes in, and it's fantastic. It's incredible.
Awesome.
It's so good. I can't
Roger.
rave more about it. Yeah, and I just saw it last night, so I don't even have like all my information there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just it's on Netflix. Just check it out. It's what a great series.
Great.
I like it. I like it. Speaking of,
Oh, wait. Let me go back. It's
Absolutely.
not Netflix. I'm sorry. I bought it on Xbox.
Okay.
So scratch that, reverse
That's
it.
fine.
It's
Yes.
not Netflix.
Yeah.
You have to buy it. So,
All right.
I have the internet. I have ways of
Or,
watching things.
or simply
But
get it
it's-
for free.
Yeah.
whatever.
A bit
Who
torrent.
knows?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
But no, it sounds like it's a series worth supporting monetarily and through legal means.
absolutely. Uphold the law as much
Yes.
as possible.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, since we're on the subject of entertainment,
Absolutely.
did you guys know that Sylvester Stallone, early on in his career, when he was just starting out, he had $106 in his bank account, and he refused an offer of $360,000 for a script that he'd written because he wanted to make it himself, and that script was Rocky.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's kind of crazy to
That's
imagine
wild.
that he was. We were just talking about old celebrity jobs. He used to
Right.
clean lion cages for a living.
He wanted to star in it because
yeah.
they were just going to buy the
just wanted to buy
screenplay.
it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But
he,
it's
he wanted a starring vehicle for himself, and which I applaud completely. But then again, I'm also under the mindset of selling out as soon as I can, as much as I can,
Cash
as
out
fast as I
early,
can.
cash out often.
And if I can get my foot in the door by selling a script I wrote without and that gets me in the door and that
Right.
gets my name out there, I would do that. This was a different time for him as well, but now I feel like you could sell a script and maybe do more with your career than back then. So, I mean, keep in mind back then, too, it was even harder to break into the industry, and he's
Right.
just saying, no. And then Rocky gets nominated, I think, for 12 different categories of the Oscar. I mean, it was
10 Academy Awards he got nominated for,
Nominated
including
for
Best
10.
Actor and Best Original Screenplay.
And
Wow.
I mean, that's the thing is, as much as Sylvester Stallone, as much as he's a businessman, and people look at him as making bad movies and action movies and all that, as being an action star, he's a good writer, and I mean, he's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a great entertainer.
Yeah.
I mean,
over the top.
just think about all the films that were paid for that somebody's like, I'm holding out and I'm going to be in it, and then it failed. So
Yeah.
I mean, I just think like for the one success story, there's probably like 100 or more.
That could have been
that's
just as good. That actors,
Yeah, I mean, because it's like that happens all the time. So.
all the time. Yeah,
he got really lucky that he got what was it, Avildsen, right? The director.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a really good director. It's like the rest of the cast
The
was
cast
incredible.
was
Talia
phenomenal.
Shire, Paulie Young. It's like all those
Burgess
guys.
Meredith.
Oh yeah, Burgess
Yeah.
Meredith, of course.
Speaking of Rocky, this is I don't have this written down, but I just seen this yesterday or 2 days ago from Rocky 5. Tommy Morrison, he was the Tommy gun in Rocky 5. They street fought, and he just passed away from HIV.
Oh, that's
I believe.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Ouch.
He's actually it's a bummer. He's 44 years old,
Wow.
something like that.
It's sad.
44, 54,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know his age, but he just passed away, and he was in the Rocky 5.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah.
On the happier side of HIV-related facts, Magic Johnson actually owns a Fridays franchise down by LAX, and
Okay.
if
Oh,
you
wow.
drive past it, it says I've never seen one like this. It says Magic Johnson's TGI Fridays. I like to think that
Wow.
he just rents the place out himself
He
each night
owns,
and just
he
eats
owns
alone.
everything he owns has like Magic Johnson's
Yeah.
name on it.
Yeah.
Like there's a gym, Magic Johnson's 24-hour fitness. I think he owns a movie theater. I think it's like Magic Johnson's Rave Theater or something like that. Like he's the type of guy who like he's got the money. If I had that money, I'd be buying things just
Sure.
to name it. Like I've always wanted to get successful enough to where I can donate tons of money to like a high school or something to build a theater and just name it like the John Wilkes Booth Theater or something. Just name it something. Here's money to build it. I get to name it.
Right,
Like,
Franzese vom Zibbelsen Theater.
There are no vowels in this theater.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it. There's 7 different ways.
Yeah. Choose wisely.
Is that the West Wing or the East Wing? How much money did he give us?
Too much.
Here's something while speaking of boxing and Magic Johnson and athletes and all of that. I'm not a sports fan, but I do know I played football in high school, and I shouldn't say I played football in high school. I was like on the bench. I played the bench. I was like the last string that there is. And first string, there's a term, obviously in sports.
Yeah.
The first string of athletes, the first string is
people are going to put in first.
You put in your first string. Absolutely. That actually drives from archery back in the day when archers would take multiple strings. They would take a backup strings for their bow, and their first string was always their best. String that
makes
their bow
sense.
and arrow.
Well, I just learned something. I always thought it had something to do with string theory.
Yeah.
But it's like it has nothing to do with...
Far less chaotic.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's something about sports and archery, I found that, I learned that, I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. I never, it's something you don't really think about.
Yeah, it's just one of those idioms that we've just grown accustomed to.
Grown accustomed to it, yeah.
Here's something I learned as a fact recently, that video games are a time suck.
Yeah, that is a science fact.
Because I hadn't played in a while, and I downloaded BioShock Infinite for some strange reason.
Yeah.
It is so fun and incredible that I was like, wow, my last every night in the last week I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was like, and I haven't played video games like that in so long.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, they frighten me.
Yeah, a lot of string theory and American exceptionalism in there.
Yes, very, very. It's so detailed.
Yeah, it's a heady, really heady game.
Yeah, really. Whoever made BioShock, thank you.
Yeah,
BioShock Infinite. Sorry,
Ken Levine over at Irrational Games.
Okay,
they're based out of Boston. They've made some fantastic stuff over the years. I don't know if you guys ever played a game called I think Freedom Force.
No.
It was this like real time strategy game where you controlled a little squadron of superheroes, like really. Really funny, really detailed, but all I'm saying, look into it. If you
Force.
If you like BioShock Infinite and you like the stuff they make, you're probably going to dig this.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a huge gamer. I am looking forward to the new Batman video game, though.
Arkham Origins?
Arkham Origins, only because I've maybe played 3 video games in the last 10 years. And the last time I played a game was maybe a year and a half ago. And the 3 games that I played were all within a week apart. And they were Batman Arkham Asylum, Portal 2, and Batman Arkham City. And all 3 of those games, this is how much of a time suck it is I played those straight through. So there was like...
Wow.
So like within a 2-week period... There was like 3 different times of 18 hours I was just playing video games all day. Luckily, I had the day off because they were just so addictive and such a great story. I played those through, and that's predominantly the reason I don't play video games because I don't have that kind of time. I can't do that.
Yeah, same here. That's why I just had to give up. Like the only games I've played series of are the Splinter Cell. Okay. So I just bought the new Splinter Cell, but it's not even out. It's not out of the shrink wrap. It's like I've got some games that I haven't even opened.
Yeah,
and that's one of them.
You got to set aside time. It's weird. You got to schedule time for fun.
I have such an addictive personality. I can't turn that. I can't turn it off.
I'm in the same boat.
If it's right there, I can't turn it off.
I know
so that's why I haven't played them. But BioShock Infinite was one of those everyone had told me how great it was. It was downloadable. I was like, yeah, I'll just download it.
Yeah.
And 10 hours later, I was like, oh my God.
What has happened?
Yeah.
What year is it?
Yeah.
My roommates are on a Borderlands 2 kick right now.
Oh, that's another phenomenal
That's a really
title.
fun game.
Yeah.
I did play that.
The writing in that game is so funny.
Yeah. All I hear is them chatting back and forth about what they're doing. And it's so funny. So funny to hear.
We're talking about video games, talking about, spending a lot of time. While you were holed up playing video games, I imagine you probably drank a lot of soda. You're an admitted caffeine addict.
I'm a caffeine
you drink
addict.
Diet soda at all?
I do not drink diet soda.
Okay, but
I'd like to hear about diet soda.
I mean, diet soda is not real soda. It is garbage you put in your mouth. That's a fact. What's my opinion? But just don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
I'm cool with real Coke, though. But aspartame, the active, it's sort of the sweetening agent. That
Cheney's aspartame is what they should call it. If it was Magic Johnson, it would be like Cheney's aspartame.
Schlatters. It's actually James M. Schlatter's aspartame. So aspartame was discovered in 1965 by this guy, James M. Schlatter, a chemist working for the G.D. Searle company. And it wasn't looking for a sweetener. What happened was he was trying to make a anti-ulcer drug because people were having a bit of gastric distress, perhaps from the too much sugar they were consuming. And he accidentally discovered its sweet taste when he licked his finger to turn a page, like a piece of paper, and his finger had been contaminated with it. So accidental discovery turns into a probably multi-billion-dollar industry.
Is it like sweet and low? That doesn't it cause cancer?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are sort of turning on aspartame. I don't know if aspartame in particular causes cancer. I just sort of like, when I hear artificial sweetener, my brain, like, the big red, like, cancer light in my brain goes off. I'm just like, no, get that shit out of here.
Right, you got Splenda, you got Liquos, you have all, like, Flimbus, a bunch of other names I can come up with.
Flimbus?
Yeah. I want the special Flimbus anti-sugar drug.
Flimbus sounds like if Tim and Eric were putting out, like,
that's
artificial
right.
sweetener.
Here's the thing, too. This is mind-blowing to me. For the longest time, I have a habit of, like, just 2 weeks ago, I thought it was orangutan with a G, and I found out that G's not actually.
That's how they named the popular powdered drink.
Yeah. I actually, believe it or not, thought all this time, because aspartame isn't something I'm reading about daily, and for some reason, I always thought it was aspartame. I always thought it was with an N, and it's.
Here's one for me: Neanderthal. My whole life, up until about 2 years ago, I would say Neanderthal.
There's no H.
It's a Neanderthal.
Neanderthal.
And I don't like saying it like that.
Yeah.
And I almost want to fight people. I know that's the right way to say it, but I like saying Neanderthal.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's like that. You grew up hearing like Chipotle or Chipotle.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Come on.
One thing that stuck with me was like, wow, I've been saying Magneto's name wrong my entire life. I would say Magneto.
Magneto.
And then when those movies came out, they're like, Magneto, really? I guess that's how it is.
Yeah.
Like, they forced it.
It's like, Nito, look at my powers.
That's right.
Chipotle.
They're all about the subtle onomatopoeia.
Speaking of like eating things and all that, they're Crayola crayon. They make crayons. Obviously, everybody knows about Crayolas.
And kids eat them.
Yeah.
Kids eat them. Well, speaking of kids eating them, they have not only every so often they'll release new colors and all of that to
like
for
bright
advertising
white.
And they have specialty crayons that they used to have. They had silver swirls, which is like Aztec gold, glossy grape, pearly purple with like glitter and all of that. In 1994, they had a select group of colors called the Magic Scents, and this had baby powder, banana, chocolate, jelly bean, lumber, lime, rose, grape, blueberry, multiple flavors.
Leather jacket
was one of them. New car was
new
a
car.
scent.
They got new car. I remember I had baby powder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black licorice, peach, strawberry. These were all scents, right, for Crayola crayons, but they had to cancel this. They had to change some of the scents because they were getting so many complaints from parents that some of the crayons smelled good enough to eat, like cherry, chocolate, and blueberry. They smelled so good that parents and children just wanted to eat these crayons.
Yeah.
So there's always one or two kids when you were like in elementary school who would just like eat not only paste, but they would eat crayons.
Yeah, like any craft equipment, you just can't leave these kids unattended.
Yeah.
So now you're like forcing them to want to eat them. Here's this blueberry crayon.
Macaroni necklace is just asking for trouble. It's already pasta, but like this, thankfully, I'm hoping no kids just like sank their teeth into the dirt flavored ones or their cedar chest. I'm seeing. Smoke,
shampoo.
New car. That's probably just like fully just. It's a cancerous crayon. New car smell.
And it's a blue color on. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and it looks like the new car is blue. So whatever that means, whatever blue is apparently associated with new cars.
I think it's like that'd be the color of the little pine tree that you hang from your rear view mirror.
That's so funny. There's a coconut. There's a cedar chest, as opposed to like a any other wood chest. I didn't study improv, so name another wood chest.
Mahogany
chest. There you go.
Brown chest.
Wood pulp product.
Pine chest. That's not even a wood.
They did have pine. Pine was another
really?
one of the...
I was about to call
it a flavor.
They had to change the scent of the cedar chest because too many children were trying to hide in the crayons.
Yeah, there's neither line.
Cedar cyanide crayon.
Yeah.
In the shape of a hospital child.
Crayon.
Yeah.
New baby scented.
Yeah. Get to the middle.
A surprise in every bite.
Yeah, a tiny brain.
Here's a fun fact. Costa Rica has no army.
Let's invade.
Yeah,
right.
And they haven't had one since 1949.
Since 1949, and an old roommate of mine is from New Zealand, and I guess he was telling me New Zealand also doesn't have an army.
Neither does Japan. Japan has what they call a self-defense force.
Self-defense force, which really,
it's just a fancy term for, like, it's not quite an army, but we have people. Like, I'm sure they have a Voltron scroll.
Fukushima, that's what they've got going
exactly.
on. They had TEPCO as their army, right?
I see things like this, like they don't have no army and no, like, protection. And as much as I'm an upstanding citizen, it's kind of like, why isn't anybody taking these over? Like, there's all these other wars going on in the world, and like civil war and civil unrest inside these own countries. How come they just don't be like, well, let's just go take over our own in the middle of nowhere and call it good?
I'm sure that would incite a giant war. We're like, really? You're going to go take over Costa Rica? They're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. They're not doing anything. We're worrying about taking care of other people in Costa Rica.
You'd have a guerrilla force of brides who are angry that you're taking over their destination wedding location.
Well, then here you go. Okay, if Costa Rica, we're getting terrorist attacks because we're the United States, does Costa Rica get terrorist attacks? Because if no, why don't we just get rid of our army? Let's just get rid of all of our...
I can see that going over super well.
Let's just get rid of...
I think Costa Rica's like, just everyone. We're the vacation capital. We don't have any...
You just put the lime in the coconut and mix it all up. That's all you
let's not get angry.
Oh, man. It's so, like, I don't know. That's baffling. Like, I definitely think we need to bring our army back to protect us more instead of going places. I'm definitely pro bringing our soldiers home.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think we need it for some reason, because obviously everybody can't get along.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's just something that seems antithetical to how we conduct ourselves as a nation.
Yeah.
Case in point, J. Edgar Hoover, colorful character, head of the FBI for a long time. He had people monitoring Eleanor Roosevelt because he believed that she couldn't possibly be as altruistic and good-intentioned as she was, so he suspected her of being a secret communist and trying to subvert the status quo.
Man.
Well, that Hoover.
Classic E-money.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, speaking of all that communist stuff, there was, I was reading today, or yes, I was reading somewhere, I think it was today. I think it was this morning. In one of my feeds, I was some trivia, much preparing for this podcast. The movie Good Night, Good Luck. That when they showed, they were test screening that to people, and people thought that when they would show scenes with McCarthy, they thought they were complaining, saying he was overacting and he was just acting too nutty. And what's interesting about that is they used real footage of McCarthy going crazy in that movie. So people were seeing this and just realizing how nutty this guy is, and thought he was an actor, when that's exactly how nutty he was back in the day, getting people on board. Like
McCarthy
back then,
went ham.
People were on board with his nuttiness.
That reminds me, they put out this comic book, I believe in the 1960s, called This Godless Communism.
Okay.
And it was an attempt to sort of like capture the youth market, like let them know about the dangers of communism. It came out in 1961, I want to say, in this thing called Treasure Chest, which was a bi-weekly like anthology. And it was just this ridiculous 10-chapter feature where it supposed, like, what if the United States was invaded by the Soviet Union? And it's just immediately, like, the newscasters come on, like, all hail your new red leaders, welcome to the United States of Soviet Russia. And then the father's like, what could we have done? The son's like, the son's like, Dad, like, what are we going to do? He's like, not now, Billy, let us hold hands and pray. It is, if you can ever find a copy of it, it's a compelling read in terms of just how, like, it feels like a bad sitcom pilot.
Yeah, Stalin was ruthless.
Yeah.
He would just murder dudes left and right, just like for all, but very, very methodically. Like he took out like all the top army guys all got taken out. So
really,
just by death threats. So he had them all on a boat and burned them all.
Wow.
Yeah,
he was a bastard.
That's taking it back to you mentioned sitcoms and movie magic here. The transporter, the teleporter, and
not the Jason Statham movie.
Yeah, not the movie. The made famous in Star Trek was actually they created that because the studio couldn't afford the special effects of having a spaceship take off and land in every episode. So they just constructed the idea of having them be able to teleport.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. And thus a generation of people arguing whether it's a real copy of yourself that appears on the other side, or if it's like an alternate reality clone.
Yeah,
was born.
much like in the Prestige.
Yeah.
know.
When you come out, you are Christian Bale.
Yeah, or Hugh Jackman.
Right.
Was he in the Prestige? Who
He was in
am I
the
thinking
Prestige.
of?
It was Hugh
Yeah, it's
Jackman and
both
Christian
those
Bale.
guys.
It was
Yeah.
both.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy. Yeah, Hugh Jackman was the one who actually was the one who created that. In the movie, spoiler alert, it's been out long enough for
Right.
you guys to have seen it. Christian Bale was the guy who he had his twin brother that. So
Gotcha.
They pulled off the joke, but Hugh Jackman could not figure out how he did it.
And David Bowie played Tesla.
David Bowie. Here's the thing, David Bowie. Here's a bit of trivia. David Bowie. You guys will remember the show back in the Monkees.
Hey,
Sure.
We're the Monkees.
Monkees. People say we monkey around.
Daydream believer.
They had some good tunes. I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah.
Those were some catchy songs.
Nesmith.
The singer, Mike Nesmith, who also, I think it was either Mike Nesmith or one of the other guys, whose mom actually invented whiteout.
That was Nesmith's
Nesmith's
mom made whiteout.
Mike
Wow.
Nesmith's
Invented
mom
it.
invented whiteout from the Monkees. The singer Davy Jones from the Monkees, his name was actually David Jones, tied back to David Bowie. Changed his name because his real name was David Jones.
Wow.
So he changed it to David Bowie because,
To avoid any confusion.
Any monkey business.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll be here all week.
We'll be right back.
That's where you need the applause or the
Yeah.
boo. Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't.
He did do it. He did.
Yeah, Mike Nesmith's mom invented whiteout.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what have you... You're a rock star. I invented a super useful office supply.
No, actually, he beats out a lot of other rock stars. What did your mom invent?
Yeah.
No, I don't care if you're
Shut
famous.
up.
Yeah.
I don't care how many drugs you did. What'd your mom invent?
Yeah. I just sold out a stadium. So what? What did your mom do?
Oh, she invented a lint roller. Shut up, Bono.
Speaking of inventing things, here's the thing. I love mentioning this every podcast because it just cracks me up how much we kind of don't care about segues. The inventing things, the Concorde jet. I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. Is a huge. I'm a huge fan of him. We were talking about Iron Man and all that. I feel like to me, Elon Musk is like the real Tony Stark, and he just released stuff about the Hyperloop not too long ago, and he was mentioning about how in order to really make things effective for cross countries, fast travel, you need like high speed airplanes and all that, which is the Concorde was one of the more prevalent high speed jets that they ended up deeming too expensive and not really safe enough cost effectively to make it a thing. The Concorde, when it was in supersonic flight, it would expand nearly 1 foot due to the heat caused by the air friction. So it would expand.
Yeah, the plane gets longer.
The plane would get longer and wider.
Yeah,
because
that'd be a great like that. Oh, not enough leg room? Wait till you're in flight.
wait till you're going really really fast.
Yeah. Your legs expand.
Yes, that's just your skull.
Speaking of teleporting, I read like 2 weeks ago that they had started doing these teleporting tests.
Okay.
That's teleporting.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually it's on these science blogs online.
Is this out of Willy Wonka's factory?
No, it's real science, but it's fantastic that I didn't know that they just came up with, well, just have them teleport. We don't have the budget for these spaceships to fly around. And now for years,
they've been
all these nerds who grew up
Yeah.
watching Star Trek are like, I'm going to make a teleporter. I mean, it actually spawned the desire to teleport.
Well,
They didn't
I mean-
realize it was all thanks to a line producer
Yeah.
at Roddenberry.
But I mean, you look at all the other. I mean, everything else from Star Trek and like the Jetsons and all that is it's science fiction. Really is a great prediction of the future. Of technology because you see it, you want it, so then you create it. Like smartphones and flying cars. They're obviously that
Back to the Future 2 is a shining example of dangling that technological carrot.
Yeah, it's I seen there are a few flying cars, but they're more planes with wings that fold up. They're not real like flying.
That just sounds like a nightmare. Imagine if we had flying cars, everyone would be dead.
Exactly.
hands
Oh
down.
my god, it would be one plane crash after another.
They never
another.
predicted the cell phone, and you always hear people like, well, I want my flying car. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you don't.
Don't text
don't.
and teleport.
Yeah, it'd be like,
You could wind up with an emoji face.
So, like, movies like Blade Runner had these, like, really dystopian futures, and sometimes it's, oh, man, those things are so cool. It's like, remember, we're headed towards a horrible dystopian future that doesn't sound that much fun to live in. It's
even
cool
if
to
once
watch.
you have the technology, like every city is going to be like a mega slum by then.
Well, and that like every science fiction future movie has like these utopias, and it's like world peace and all of that. But every science fiction movie with world peace and utopias, the utopia is the bad guy. Like the hero is always trying to prove how wrong and how corrupt the city is. And the
why are you trying to fight Omni-Think? I want to be an individual.
Like every science fiction movie,
Damon.
every future movie is like the future is not good. We need multiple governments. We need wars or whatever because like you can't. It's just. One government does not work.
Well, I mean that's just the act of having a 2-hour movie. It's like if it was like, here, look at our futuristic society. Everything is calm. Credits.
Can you imagine? It's just like that was a half-an-hour movie. That was great.
Or it'd be like two people arguing about like some very minute thing.
Yeah.
The water should be contained in a red capsule. I say blue. 2 more hours.
Agree
credits.
to disagree.
Yeah, I still disagree.
With our personalized eyeball sensors, we can change the color of anything.
Bring forth the eyeball council.
You know what? We'll just kill everybody after they turn 21.
Yeah. Thanks, Logan.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
Actually, here's something kind of cool. Going back to our discussion of BioShock Infinite, Ken Levine, the man who is head of Irrational Games, he wrote the BioShock series. He is actually the one who is writing the new Logan's Run reboot.
Really?
Yeah.
And who's directing it?
That is something I
heard it was going to be
Bryan Singer was on board for a while.
No, that was way long ago.
Moons ago.
This is a guy who did Valhalla and Drive. It's a Ryan
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yes, thank you, Nicholas Winding Refn, who I loved. Only God Forgives. If you get
I
a
haven't
chance
seen
to
it yet.
It is so brutal.
Is it
It's like an art movie.
Yeah, Gosling is like
great.
7 lines or something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's fantastic. It was so refreshing to see a movie
Drive,
like that.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's different than Drive. I mean, he's really pushing the boundaries, I think, and it's exciting to see a film that works.
Is it similar like visual aesthetics and stuff like that? He loves those neons.
It does. It falls into like he's like paying homage to Jodorowsky and David Lynch in certain senses. Yeah.
Now, how does that compare with the Between the Pines? I believe
that was incredible.
That was fantastic.
Oh my god! And you know what? What I was so blown away by that film is like I'd seen the trailer. And both me and my girlfriend Holly were like, "Oh, we'll eventually see that. It looks like a good movie." But when you see the film, it is so different. And I was not, because I hadn't read anything about it, so I was not. I don't want to give away any spoilers. But if you haven't seen Between the Pines,
that's the interview show with Ryan Gosling. Between Two Pines.
Right. It's a Between Two Pines where it's like, yes, it's a David Lynch, Twin Peaks type thing. That film is so amazing because of the way the story is told. And it took so many chances, too, I thought.
I was not expecting the structure they went for, and it's just a really dynamite picture.
I'm a huge fan of Ryan Gosling. I like what he does. So I haven't seen either of those movies, but they're on my list of movies to check out.
I don't want to see The Notebook, and I probably won't.
Oh, you haven't seen The Notebook?
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Have you seen Crazy Stupid Love?
I have.
That movie's a good movie.
That was better than I was
really
expecting.
Funny.
Yeah. Okay.
That movie's a really funny movie.
There's Rom and there's Com.
Yeah. Here's a fun take it completely irrelevant from Ryan Gosling here. According to this article on Mental Floss, Cap'n Crunches. Everybody knows about Cap'n Crunchy, the WMD weapon of mouth destruction, as I like to call it here. Cap'n Crunch's full name is Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch. According to this Mental Floss page here.
Please, my father was Horatio Magellan. Call me Captain.
According to the Cereal Corporation.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know if my dad used to have all his old comic books in the basement, and in the back they would always have these little like stories where it'd be like Spider-Man has to team up with Captain Crunch to defeat the evil Sogs, which were milk that would make your cereal soggy.
Yeah, the old Captain Crunch commercials had like him fighting the Soggies.
Yeah, evil milk people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's also like how they'd have like Batman like saving the day from bank robbers by giving them Hostess fruit pies.
Yeah, those I remember. I remember like the weird. Those were always weird.
Yeah,
one-pagers.
It would be right after the like scores of ads for stuff like Charles Atlas is like, "Are you a nerd on the beach? Did someone kick sand in your face, embarrass you in front of your best gal? Yeah. Buy this."
Yeah. Classic comic book ads.
Vintage and nice X-ray specs.
I'm looking on this still this mental floss page here, and it says apparently the skipper's name originally was Jonas Grumby on Gilligan's Island, and staying on Gilligan's Island, the professor was his name supposedly on the show. The real was Roy Hinckley. So, but
how about the professor and Marianne? What's her last name?
I don't know.
It doesn't say.
The skipper's name was Grumby?
Jonas Grumby. Jonas Grumby. I don't know if I'd ever get on a boat with a captain named Jonas Grumby.
Her name was Marianne Summers.
Ah,
yes.
Okay. What a pretty name.
Right?
Roy Hinckley. That sounds too much like the guy who tried to shoot shot Reagan.
Exactly.
Right?
Roy Hinckley's on our island? Oh, Christ.
There's a second shooter.
His name's Hinckley.
Yeah. There's a second Hinckley. I did not realize that Snuffleupagus, everyone's favorite mythical elephant beast on Sesame Street, has a first name, and that is Aloysius. Aloysius.
Jesus.
Aloysius.
Can't they just leave these beasts alone?
Right?
Why do they have to give them a human? Well, it has two names. Just be Snuffleupagus. Why does it have to have a first name? Can't it just be that's its name? Mm-hmm. And does the Snuffleupagus take rainbow-colored shits? That's my question.
Yeah, I presume so. You never see the gritty underbelly of Sesame Street.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Snuffleupagus. I didn't realize this till maybe 10 years ago. Snuffleupagus was only seen by the viewer in Big Bird. Snuffleupagus was Big Bird's imaginary friend. Nobody else on Sesame Street actually knew.
Big Bird has avian flu, commonly known as SARS, which affects the brain and causes them to have psychedelic hallucinations.
That's so weird that he was a hallucination.
Yeah.
Did they ever correct that and make him no, now he's part of the gang? Or is he still...
I mean, I haven't watched in the last 10 years.
I don't think so. I think he's still just like this fever dream, like Homer's space coyote.
Makes sense.
Since we're on the topic of fictional character names, do you guys know... A lot of people know the Monopoly mascot is... they call him Rich Uncle Pennybags. His real name is Milburn Pennybags, but do you know the policeman has a name as well?
No.
I did not know that.
It is Edgar Mallory.
Okay.
Officer Edgar Mallory. In case you want to add another depth of world building to your Monopoly experience.
Mallory would never do that.
Yeah.
I just imagine him as...
You're a loose cannon, Mallory, but you get results.
Now, Mallory is Irish, right? Like, I feel like I just imagine, I definitely...
All right there, Mr. Pennybags. All right, move it along.
I feel like that's a perfect, stereotype for a police officer. You know, even taking it back to Batman and the 66 Batman, they had Chief O'Hara, who was, the Irish cop.
Right.
I was talking.
All right there, Mr. Thimble, move it along. What are the other characters' names?
Top Hat, Johnny Top Hat.
You there in the iron costume, get out of here.
That's right.
You rabble rouser.
You got to roll doubles.
What are they? They just replaced a couple of the Monopoly pieces. I think they replaced the wheelbarrow and the iron.
Okay.
Or they replaced some. They replaced some controversial, not controversial, but just sort of
outdated.
Outdated. Back then it was it's a symbol of domesticity.
Yeah. They replaced the
people
iron.
What is this tiny cup?
They replaced the iron with, I believe, a woman washing the dishes.
No.
No.
They replaced it with an outraged Tumblr page.
Here's the thing. Speaking of how outdated that is, my buddy posted on Instagram the other day. He got it from Reddit, I'm assuming, but it's a picture of the box of Battleship, and the picture of the box, the old art for Battleship has the dad and the son playing Battleship, and if you look in the background of the drawing, the mom and the daughter are wearing aprons and doing the dishes.
Wow.
It's clearly of a whole different era. It's just amazing how
times haven't changed.
Yeah.
You know what's incredible about Battleship the movie that I didn't realize it, and I saw it on Netflix for free.
Okay.
I just had to say that.
I saw it in a theater. Yeah. I paid money.
I just had to say that I saw it for free on a lazy Sunday. And it's horrible. It's a stupid film.
Horrible movie.
But I didn't realize that the alien weapons are the pegs.
The pegs, yeah.
Someone wrote that on Facebook. And it was the weapons are the alien things are the pegs. I just couldn't stop doing it in all caps. You mean the weapons are the pegs? It's and that's I think that's the only connection it has to the game.
Only connection. Well, no, because when they're trying to locate where they're going to attack next, it's on a grid system of the buoys.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moment.
The buoys when they're buoy 12. And
I already spaced that part out.
It's so bad.
I just remember they looked when they finally took the masks off. The aliens had like 6 hands, and they look like Moby Dick or
and it's that's what upsets me about that movie. That movie, first off,
Captain Ahab.
Oh, it's such a bad movie. They're attacking these aliens. They think these aliens are attacking us, but really the only reasons the aliens are attacking us is because this metal ship comes down from space, and it's hanging out there, and humans are trying to talk to this spaceship.
Hey, what are you guys doing in there?
So we're trying to talk, and the only way we can communicate is by sounding an air horn. So we sound an air horn with the most technology we have for an air horn, and
which is from local hip hop DJs.
Yeah, we sound the air horn, right, and want them to communicate back with us. They have an air horn on their ship, on their spaceship, but it's just a really loud air horn. So they sound an air horn, and it shatters all the glass, and it causes frequencies to go out and all that. And all of a sudden, we don't take that as them responding back to us. We take that as them attacking us. So we just start attacking these guys, which is like, what? That's how dumb. Like, if I've learned
you break
anything,
our champagne flutes, we break you.
You just dumbed my battleship.
If I've learned anything from like movies with aliens, it's that if I see a UFO, I'm going to start running in the other direction because the United States governments have already seen that UFO and they're about to do something really stupid.
Shoot first.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I saw a couple of them critters floating around my house. I shot them.
Maybe that 8 bullets.
That's right. My buddies, funny story about Battleship. I've seen it. I've seen it in the theater for some reason. I don't know why I did that, but my buddies seen it on an airplane. And they were, like a couple of them were sitting next to each other. And then they were like in the same aisle, but they were watching Battleship was the in-flight movie, and they're watching this movie. And towards the end, like they just had enough, so they took their headphones off, and they were still watching the screen, and so they could hear everything going on the plane while they're watching this movie. And towards the end, when like the twist happens and the ending happens, they see one guy like 10 rows up just fling his hands in the air, and another guy go, "Come on!" So like they. Oh, just to hear them tell that story is so funny because that movie is so bad. It's literally like upsetting how bad the ending is.
From the opening sequence in which Taylor Kitsch is trying to get a burrito to Rihanna's monologue about how her grandfather always said one day the aliens would come and he didn't want to be there.
Right, that horrible burrito sequence. I forgot about that.
It's it's known in the industry as the save the cat moment. But
all right, I'll change the Battleship subject. You just reminded me for some reason about Morton Downey Jr. and I saw that documentary about Morton Downey Jr. They screened it over at Cinefamily. That's what it was, like seeing a movie in like 4D because you're like watching a movie and then you're seeing people react. Morton Downey Jr.'s wife was sitting like right in front of us to the side, and his old partner who he used to play songs with was also in the audience sitting over here. So while the movie was on, she was yelling at the screen. So we were getting this weird like third person's perspective. Yikes. And we were like, she's crazy. And then she showed up on screen. I was like, that's the wife. And then she was yelling at this other guy and he wouldn't respond, and it became this insane three-way
DVD commentary.
Like we were sitting in her living room. That's not the way it happened. She whispering to her weird friend who was also kind of out there. Yeah, it was a very strange experience.
That is fun comfortable.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was like, whoa, this is so weird.
Oh my God. Well, unfortunately, that is where we have to leave things today. Yeah. John, thank you so much for being here today, man.
It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot of facts.
Good. That's mission accomplished. So, if people wanted to find you on the internet or keep up with your many projects, what would be the best way to do that?
Just follow me at Twitter. Just Jon Schnepp on Twitter.
At Jon Schnepp. Very nice. And is there anything coming out soon that we can look forward to?
In October, I've got an animated series on Machinima called Hail to the King. It's based on Avenged Sevenfold's music, and they wrote it, and it's like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of adventure.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So, but it's like a prequel to, they have an iPhone game where you play this Death Bat creature. So I've done the prequel where it's how the king becomes the Death Bat.
Rad.
Okay, really cool.
Finally.
Really cool.
Awesome.
That's cool. We'll look forward to seeing to playing that or seeing that.
Yeah, it'll be
seeing your prequel.
Yeah, and you can just watch it.
Playing while watching.
Yeah, they're short, like a minute and a half episodes. There can be 6
Wonderful.
of them. So.
That's the perfect amount of time to watch an internet video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most people's eyes start to glaze over. They see something over 2 minutes.
You said glaive.
Glaive, yeah.
As in the Krull weapon.
Yes. Well, I was thinking, you have me in the mindset of D&D. So, I've got to get to a wet halberd contest after this.
I'll skip the ad after 5 seconds and watch the minute and a half.
Yeah. So great, guys. Thank you again for listening. It's been another fun-filled episode of Today We Learned. If you have a fact, you have some feedback, you just want to say hey, you can find us on Twitter at TWL Podcast, on Facebook, Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan, or if you want to talk to us directly, just tweet at us. I am at OsteoFerocious. My lovely co-host is at My Name is Razzle2.
The number 2.
Yes, don't write TWO. You'll get some weird, probably spam
Non-Razzle.
Some
Yeah.
non-razzle.
Except no substitutes. Except no aspartame Twitters.
With an M, aspartame with an...
Yes.
With an, I just said aspartame again. Aspartame. That's a weird word. Like,
I refuse to aspartame the witness.
Today
Why
we
would you
learned
name
some
it?
things, but we didn't change old habits.
No. Cool. Well, thanks for listening, and we appreciate you guys listening. So feel free to give us a good rating on iTunes and tell your friends and all of that. And
Otherwise, we will see you next Monday.
Absolutely. Thanks. Tell your friends.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.